Hey guys, it's Maymay, and yes, I promised to show you this card today, but I'm going to be honest, I'm having a little bit of engineering issues with this one. I want to show you how to make this with the supplies you have at home, and I know that we can do it, but I've struggled with it this weekend, getting it just right. I've gotten it really close, but not perfect yet, so we're going to wait till we get this one perfect, and I'll bring it to you probably later in the week. But I did show you guys my Stamp Club sneak peek, and many of you wanted to see how this background was done. So I thought, you know what? I'll make it up to you guys by giving you this background, which is so easy. It's one of those that you better not blink because you're going to miss it. Let me show you how to do this one. Now, the first thing I've done is I've taken some watercolor from this Artist Lost watercolor pad, and it's just watercolor paper or cardstock, whichever you have in your stash. This just happens to be from Michael's, and it's one of the cheaper ones, and I like to keep it on hand. But I also have some nicer stuff too, but that would work just fine, but I just grabbed this one today. So it's a little bit big, but I cut this piece down to 4 1/4 by 11, and I went ahead and scored it in the middle at 5 1/2 because I'm going to make an A2 size card with it. Now, something I discovered by accident the other day when I was filming this or showing it on Periscope is to put a paper towel behind it. It really worked really well to have this to kind of collect any of the extra, so that's what I'm going to do. Now I have a piece of painter's tape, and I've taken a lot of the sticky off of it just by sticking it down on my work surface and peeling it up, putting it onto my jeans and peeling it up. Just any way you can do it to get a little fuzz on the back and kind of make it not as sticky. Because I've noticed with watercolor paper, because it's so porous, it can kind of pull some of that away when you lift up. So you want to get some of that sticky off. Now I lined it up right on the score line, ran it across the paper towel and onto my work surface to hold it still. Now this part is so easy. These are the Tim Holtz Distress crayons. Now I do believe that this method would work with the Recollections crayons as well. Everyone tells me that they are very comparable, and I did have a set of them, but I gave them away as a door prize, so I don't have them anymore, and these were sent to me by a subscriber, so I thought I really don't need both in my collection, but since I had these, I was going to use them. Now I'm going to use, I tell you what, I'll use these today since I used these on the last card, and you can see how they both work. Here's what I did. These guys come in the pack sort of in rainbow order already, kind of Roy G. Biv-ish, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to leave it like that and use that to our advantage. So I'm going to start with this red, and I'm just going to go to the top of my page. This is so easy and so fun. And I'm going to lightly color across the surface. I'm putting no pressure. I'm just letting this grab where it grabs and putting in the color. I'm not stressed about if it's being even or not, because it's going to smear all out when we get to the water part. So there was that first red. Now let's do this orange color. I haven't even used these yet. They're so pretty. These are the softest crayons. Now because they're soft, when we go off the edge of the page, it kind of grabs. So that's why I found that using this paper towel works really well to grab any extra ink or any extra crayon that grabs on the side and kind of builds up. So now a yellow, we'll run it across the page. And you kind of get the point. I'm going to do the same thing all the way down the page with these colors, using them in the order they come out of the pack. You could mix that up. You don't have to keep them in the same order. You could just use any old way you want to do it and in any direction. Here's a pretty blue. I love the colors together too. And I'll go back and tell you what these colors are, by the way, because they also match with their distress colors. The names of them do. With their distress inks, I should say. You guys know how much I love these super easy backgrounds. Okay, so this one is called Festive Berries. This one is Rusty Hinge. This one is Fossilized Amber. This one is Hidden from a Peeled Paint. This one is Chipped Sapphire, and the last one is Seedless Preserves. I bet a lot of you knew those just by heart because you love these colors so much. All right, now for the super fun part. I'm using some of these guys that are called wet naps. These are not found in the baby wipe aisle. These are found over in the napkin section of my Walmart. However, it doesn't matter. It's just a wet wipe basically. And the reason I like these for this is because they're a little bit porous and they're not very wet. I do not like to use these to clean my stamps. I learned that the hard way. They're just too porous for me for that. But I think you could use any baby wipe for this process. Now, here's the thing. You're going to start by wrapping a little bit of that baby wipe around your finger, okay? And we're going to start at the top, and we're going to go across in this motion all the way down. not up and down. We want to stay in the grain of the crayon, okay? And we're just going to take our time and pull down. I say this before I do it because it's going to go fast. Are you ready? Here's what we do. We start at the top and we just start to wipe across and we pull down as we go. And look at that. Now that is one pass, and you see how I've got so much on here. Now if I were to go back to the top again, this color can transfer, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to find a clean spot, okay? I'm going to go back to the top, and I'm going to do another pass. Just the same way, because some of the wax, I'm using that loosely, didn't break down as much as I wanted it to. Now if you like the way it was, leave it and go with it like that. Now, anytime you go back up here, you will spread this color if you keep using this particular edge of your wet wipe. You can always find a clean edge and go somewhere else. Like this is a little thick for me, so I'm gonna go right here just a little bit and just kind of smear that around too. Now then, here's one thing I discovered. On the edge, I'm using a clean wet wipe again. On the edge where I told you that it kind of built up, that wax did, I just take this little wipe and run it right up the edge. And I want to show you, see how much we collect when we do that? Make sure you do that, or when you start to move this guy around, you're going to have a mess. Just pick all that excess up. I'm even going to do it across the bottom because it can grab on that lip as well. All right, now then we can remove this tape. And you'll see why I like the paper towel so much. The first time I did it with just paper, just like copy paper as my background to collect the extra. But this paper towel really grabs that and the water and keeps it from getting on my work surface, which that's also pretty too, right? If you have a craft mat or something, you can use that, then you can just wipe it away. There is that background. And this paper's not extremely wet, although you can see it kind of buckling, but it's not extremely wet because I didn't have to use a whole lot of water for it. But I am going to use my heat tool to dry it just because we're doing a video and I need to kind of hurry with it. But you could let this air dry. And I want to show you one more tip after I get it dry for flattening it. Also, I get asked a lot of times what heat tool I'm using lately. This is the one I really like. It's the embossing heat tool by Marvy. I picked it up on Amazon and it was recommended to me by my friend Christopher and I love it. Christopher of Brutus Monroe. He's the one who told me about this one and I'm glad he did because I like it. All right, I'm going to heat it up, let it get a little hot, and then dry this. Now I've run this heat tool across the top and I want to show you what it does. Do you see how it curls the front? Because I only was on the front of the card. I'm going to turn it around and apply heat to the back to kind of even that out and straighten it out a little bit this way. Now that sort of helps it, but it doesn't make it perfect. So I want to show you what I do to get rid of that curl as much as I possibly can. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and score this guy down with my bone folder, just like this. Just kind of crease that into place. Then I bring my Cuddle Bug over because here's how I flatten it. Check this out. I'm going to take an A plate, two B plates actually, because we're going to act like we're embossing. So one B plate on the bottom, okay? I'm going to take any old embossing folder I have just close to me. I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to lay it on top of that card. So the card is on the back of the embossing plate, and that's just because that's what we need for the sandwich to work. And then I'm going to add this B plate on top, and I'm going to run this through and flatten this dude out. Now that's one pass. I'm going to send it back through one more time just because. Probably don't have to, but I think while I'm in there, let's do it. Now, see how much flatter it is? It's still not perfect, but it's not nearly as curled as it was, and the whole card itself is pretty flat. Now, any other bending that I have, I can just kind of mess with the fibers of the paper and bring that around and get it to flatten out pretty good. Now, one thing I did on my card project was I took my corner rounder and I used the 1/2 inch and I corner rounded these edges just to kind of give it a little more interest. Then I just did some stamping, and I'm going to do that today too. And if you haven't seen this stamp set, this is the newest one. It's called Sorry, and it's all for I'm sorry sentiments or sympathy sentiments. And you can pick this up in the store probably this afternoon, tomorrow at the latest. It's being shipped out to club members today, and as soon as it's all in the mail, it'll go into the store. But I want to use it because I love it for this background. All right, so I have here one of those dandelions, and I'm just going to ink it up with some VersaFine. I have been stamping this non-stop since I got them. I just love this dandelion. I'm going to stamp it in this area. Just like that, right on top of that crayon. It did not hurt. It dried just fine. Like I'll show you, this is the one I made on Friday, and you can see that I can rub it and I'm not getting any like black or anything on my thumb, so that's awesome. And let's do some more dandelions. Let's get the big one. Now I'm just going to bring this one up in this corner here. And you can bend these stems in different directions because they're just, you know, clear photopolymer. You could pick this up and bend it in different ways if you needed it to go in another direction. And I'm going to use the word sorry. I think I'm going to put it right about here. And then from the stamp set, I'm going to use the sentiment that says, I remembered too late. There we go. So that is our card front. Close this ink before I make a mess. So there's the front of our card. Look how easy that is. And it just looks beautiful. I just love it. I'll bring over the original. Now this one is done in the lighter colors of the Distress inks. So this one's done in this set, which is called, let's see if it has a name for it, how you would know which one this one is. No difference there. Let me look at the names on this one for you. So this one is Picked Raspberry. This one is Spiced Marmalade. This one is Mustard Seed. Then we have Twisted Citron. Mermaid Lagoon. And finally, Peacock Feathers. So that's what this collection had in it. And like I said, I just used it just like it came. So there's that one. And then this set here. So if you're wondering how to use these guys super quick and easy, I think that's a nice, easy way to do it and get yourself kind of a sunset looking background. I hope you guys enjoyed that today, and I promise I'll bring that other card to you. It is just kind of getting me. Paper engineering is not always my strong suit, but I'm trying. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Now, if you recreate this look using ink or crayons or anything, we want to see it. So head over to my Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. Join the group and share with us what you're making. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and everywhere else. Thanks so much for watching. Links to all my social medias are below. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.